Hello, it's Mandy from the future again. This is part 2 of my 1-year anniversary of being self-employed video. This was originally filmed as a day in the life video where I chatted with you guys throughout the day. In part 1, it was my morning, everything before lunch. I talked about the details behind my layoff, how it happened, how it felt. I talked about the worst parts of being self-employed, and I also talked about how long it took me to make the same in my business as I did at my previous job. Now what you are watching right now is part 2. Part 2 is everything that happened after I ate lunch, and in this part 2 I'm talking about how much money I make on a regular basis, my business now versus when I was first laid off. I'll be talking about the best parts of self-employment, and lastly some of my career goals. So let's jump into it.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights.
Alright, you guys here to help us talk. Yes, hello, thank you. I just wanted to discuss things like income. So, income when you're self-employed is all over the place. So for example, last month was literally the worst month ever. I had so many expenses and I made basically no money. And it's also due to like the leap year. So when I write myself a paycheck, it's based off of what money has been deposited into my bank account for that month. But because of the leap year, like all of my book sales money didn't end up getting deposited into my bank account at all in February. Instead, this March, I'll have 2 paychecks for books for March. I think that's how it works. Either way, next month I'll have 2 deposits coming in from Amazon, one from last month and one from this month, whereas last month, February, I didn't get any because of the leap year. So yeah, and then it also just comes down to like last month no one wanted to schedule any cover design stuff. Last month none of my clients wrapped up any of their cover design stuff. So I didn't get people paying deposits or finishing their payments. And then it also just so happened that was a month where literally no one bought anything off of the book launch planner store, or they bought stuff but just like teeny weeny in comparison to what I'm used to. Whereas January was like one of the best months I've ever had, where I was selling cover design stuff left and right, scheduling people, wrapping up with people. I was selling the book launch planner without even trying, and I couldn't even tell you why it was selling well. I just know it was. I don't know if, sorry, I'm holding her so she doesn't run after the cat. I have a feeling it was a matter of like January, everyone is into like New Year's resolutions, they want to plan stuff, so they end up buying stuff in January, and then in February people are like, oh my god, my wallet's empty now, so they end up buying nothing. So that's the only thing I can imagine, plus February is such a short month, but I don't really think that has a huge deal with it. And then there's this month, which is March, whereas we are only a couple days into March, and I've made more in March than I did in February. So it's just so all over the place, and that's why it's super important to put money into like savings and to not like be a big spender. So when there are months like January and February, I had a lot of big expenses like my website renewing my LLC, like a lot of stupid renewals that are just business related, and you have to pay for them, but you also have to pay for them on a month where you're making like no money. So that's why you have to have a savings set aside for when stuff like that happens. One of you guys also asked if it weren't for being laid off, would I still be doing stuff like cover design in the book launch planner? And the truth is yes, because I was doing it before I was laid off. It was just, I definitely had too much on my plate. So if I wasn't laid off, again, the plan was to go part-time with my job and make more money with my business and then quit my job to make more money with my business. It was meant to be little baby steps instead of all at once. So let's also talk about how things have changed in the past year. So in comparison to when I first became self-employed to now. So at first, I was kind of just a mess all over the place, didn't know what I was doing. Now my days are much more structured. I create a clear schedule for myself. I have a week that I designed for myself where I'm able to work on writing every day and cover design stuff every day and YouTube stuff twice a week rather than every day. So I've kind of designed this week schedule that allows me to get to everything. And then I also have much more structured goals. So now I sit down at the beginning of every month and I set goals for how many books I want to sell. I set goals for how many planners I want to sell. I set goals for how many stickers I want to sell. I set goals for literally everything, and then I compare how I did last month to this month, and there's a lot of data that I look at and stuff that I use. I'm just talking with my hands because she's attacking them. Isn't that right? And then best of all, every now and then, I feel like I actually know what I'm doing. Like in January, it felt like I was in the zone, that I knew what the heck I was doing. And then February happened, and then I realized, no, I really have no clue what I'm doing, and I have no clue how to make income. So, yeah, but those blips are more often where I feel like I know what I'm doing. But you have to be very forgiving on yourself when you're self-employed, because it's a constant up and down of like doing really well and then feeling like you're not doing well at all and then doing well again. It's a roller coaster ride. I also had a phase where I felt like I was overwhelmed with the number of clients. I started taking 6 clients a month, and that felt like too many, so I changed it back down to 3 or 4. But then when I did that, I wasn't making as much money as I needed to. Like I was making ends meet, but it wasn't comfortable by any means. So now I'm kind of back up to taking more clients again. However, I feel much more structured in my days. So I'm actually getting around to working with clients on a daily basis and updating covers and updating formatting and designing new covers on a daily basis while still getting everything else on my to-do list done. So I've become more productive. And at first, when I first became self-employed, I was working all day. Like all day, on the weekends, would maybe have a day or two off every week. But it was very like scattered as to when I would work versus when I wouldn't work, and I didn't know how to not work. And I still feel like that sometimes, but I really, with my new schedule that I've designed for myself, I've gone out of my way to make sure that I stop working by the time my husband gets home. And it's become easier since he does work so late that I have like this extra window of time. And then I try my best to actually cook dinner because I feel like I'm an adult and I should probably learn to cook myself food eventually. So I've kind of made it a point to finish working by 5 or 6 p.m. every day. And then I've also tried to make it a point not to work on the weekends, though I still notice I work on the weekends. But I try to limit it to like one to do every day. So like on a Saturday, I might work on one cover design client, but that's it. And then on Sunday, I may print new stickers and get them ready to be sold the next week, but that's it. Whereas before, I'd be like, oh, Saturday I can work all day, and I'd give myself like 10 items to work on and to do. Whereas now I only give myself 1. So it's really just a matter of really figuring out how to plan out your days and your weeks and even your months sometimes. So yeah, I've become much more structured.
Won't stop for traffic lights. And
Hey, I'm asking you a question. Do you want to go to the store? Do you want to go to the pet store? Pick out some toys? Do you want to pick out some toys? Let's go, come on. Let's go, right. You ready? Let's go.
Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down.
The pet store is out of business. I haven't been to this one in a while. So, plan B, we're going to Tractor Supply.
Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings to fly. Sometimes we're crashing down, but we get up and start from the ground. And I really wanna know if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on
Alright, me and Yue are back from our little store trip, and then we stopped to do a quick little hike to wear her out, and now she's eating a little tooth thing. Okay, so we've talked about the bad parts of being self-employed. Let's talk about the good parts. So first and foremost, the best part of being self-employed is that I love what I do. So while I do sometimes wake up on a Monday morning and think, I have to work today, it's different because it's more just I wake up and I don't want to get out of bed, whereas before I actually didn't like what I did. Right now I like what I do, so once I wake up, I work out, I shower, I feel ready for the day and excited to actually start doing what I do. That doesn't mean there aren't bad days or days where I actually hate what I do. There are plenty of those, but for the most part, I love what I do. And even if what I do now is exactly what I would do working for someone else, I just didn't enjoy it because I like to be my own boss. Another good part is that I can control what my daily schedule looks like, what my weekly schedule looks like, what my monthly schedule looks like. As you saw, I wasn't really planning on taking Yue for a little hike today, but I figured I was gonna take her on a walk anyways, and the walk would take the same amount of time. And it's been a while since we've gone on a little hike on a little trail, so I figured it was a good excuse to do it since she is getting spayed tomorrow, so it will be a while until we are able to do that again. So it was like our last little hurrah. She has no idea what's coming. I actually have a habit of doing this all the time, especially last summer. I took almost every single Friday off to go hiking, and I loved every second of it. If I take Friday off, I will usually work a full day on Saturday or Sunday, and to me, that's a good trade-off. I like taking Fridays off, especially in the summer if I want to go hiking, because on the weekends, the hiking trails are super crowded, but if you go during the weekdays, it's not nearly as crowded. Most of all, I just also love creating things, and that's what I get to do every day for my job. And I have a bad habit of getting bored of what I do, so like if I just write, I get bored of writing. If I just cover design, I get bored of cover design. If I just design stickers, I get bored of designing stickers. So I like how I can hop around to all these different projects to fulfill my creative well. In case you're wondering, it's now 4 o'clock. I am very behind, and I'm gonna edit a YouTube video that is going up for tomorrow. As you watch this, it's the video that went up last week, if that makes any sense. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to editing.
Even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down.
So I'm gonna wrap this all up. Some of you were asking what some of my career goals were now, and I don't have any big fancy career goals. Really, it's just to make an income, and preferably make an income in the least stressful way possible, which means that I want to start doing a more passive income, which means down the line taking less clients and doing more sticker design and book stuff. Because ultimately it's really stressful to work with a lot of clients, and I love working with clients and they're a joy to work with, but when you have so many, it just becomes a real task. Now, right now, that's what I have to do to make ends meet, but again, the goal is passive income down the line, taking less clients down the line, and just making sure that I truly enjoy what I'm doing. I don't have any big, grand career goals. I just want to be self-sustainable. Now, if I didn't answer one of your questions that you submitted through Instagram, have no fear. I wrote them down for like future video ideas because some of the topics were just too broad to cover in this video, and they kind of needed their own dedicated video. So be on the lookout for that. And if you want me to talk about anything more in specifics, let me know in the comments down below. Maybe I'll do a few more dedicated videos, or if there's something that I didn't talk about that you want me to talk about, again, let me know. If you're curious with how far I got today with work, I am 12 minutes into editing this YouTube video. It's taking a bit. I had 75 video clips to sort through and a lot of hours of footage because apparently I'm really good at vlogging. Who knew? But I'm gonna skedaddle. I have to go make some mashed potatoes so we can make some shepherd's pie together tonight for date night, and then we can watch WandaVision, and then probably maybe watch another Marvel movie because we're having a Marvel movie marathon. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you enjoy this new video format, let me know. I enjoy editing it. Like, I can tell that I enjoyed filming it. I'm enjoying the editing process more. This is much more satisfying to me as a creator than when I did the talking head videos, and hopefully you guys can see it as viewers that more love has been put into it. So that is all.
Even if the sky is falling down.